Hello and welcome back to Certified Autochefing video. We are here at one of the most famous gas stations in the world. If you're a car enthusiast, you probably know this one. We're here at Miskolnik, which is one of the hotspots of the legendary Woerthersee meet. I would say Woerthersee is pretty much one of the most well-known and biggest car meets in the world. Or I should probably say was, because if you look behind me right now, it's not really many cars. This used to be packed with cars and yeah, it is now middle of May, which is pretty much the time where everybody goes down here. If you would have been here like 5 or 10 years ago, it would have been full with people. The whole street was crowded, everybody was cheering. There was the sickest car of Europe. Everywhere you look, lowest cars, fastest cars, everything. And nowadays, it's pretty much dead. Or is it actually?
Almost.
We're down here today and we're gonna find out what happened to Woerthersee. And is Woerthersee dead? But before we do any of that, before we do exploring, before we drive around, before we see where the police is and everything, we're gonna have to do a quick little history lesson and teach you guys about Woerthersee and what it really is. So, hello and welcome to History Lessons with Sheepman. Today we're gonna talk about the Woerthersee meet, which was one of Europe's biggest and most well-known car meets. It all started in 1982 when a few friends from Germany decided to take the Volkswagen GTIs to a lake in Austria, which we all know and love, the Woerthersee Lake. It is located in Kärnten, which is a small state in Austria, and it's actually pretty beautiful there. You have a lake, you have mountains, you have beautiful cities. It's perfect for a car meet. That's also what those friends from Germany thought. So they decided to go there every year, again and again. And it slowly started to gain traction. More and more people came and even big companies stepped in to sponsor the event. At one point even Volkswagen decided to attend the event, and this is when the official GT-Treff in Austria was born. With time it started to gain recognition all over the world, and people from China, from Austria and from the US came to attend the Woerthersee event. A few years ago, one guy drove his car all the way from China to Woerthersee only to be there and to experience it in real life, which is crazy in my mind. At first, it was only a meet for Volkswagen GTIs, you know, those small boxy cars, mainly Golf 1s and Golf 2s, after some time even Golf 3s. But people started to be more open to other brands as well. So Mercedes, BMWs, Porsche, all kinds of car came to celebrate this event once a year. It grew from being only one weekend in May to basically whole of May, and even at some points a few weeks in autumn. So you had multiple days where you could go down and enjoy the car scene together with your friends. People attending there were mostly young guys, and at some point even 200,000 people attended Woerthersee event, which is a crazy number, and it also meant that it boosted the tourism in the area. Everybody profited from it, hotels, restaurants, gas stations, as you can imagine. But with many people also come many problems. Yeah, if you ever been to Woerthersee, you probably know what the problems are. Back in the good old times, when there was still many people going there, you had huge traffic jams because there was just cars everywhere. You had kind of rowdish behavior from some people. You know, they were testing their anti-lags, they were doing burnouts, they were doing donuts next to the gas stations, which was all fun and games back then, but thinking back, it was probably not the smartest idea, because obviously the people living there felt very annoyed. They had to sit in the car for several hours a day only to get to work because they were stuck in a traffic jam. A few minutes later, they would get shouted at by some drunk people, and then at night when they wanted to get their restful sleep, after an exhausting day of standing in traffic and dealing with drunken people, they would be waken up by Golf 3s and 4s and whatever doing launch controls. Which, yeah, I guess I kind of understand why the people living there mostly were not a fan of the Woerthersee event. So in the 90s, they cancelled the event 3 years in a row because people were just not abiding to any laws, they were destroying property, and they were just straight up being hooligans. It carried on afterwards again, although a bit slower, but it grew and grew and grew and grew more. I think the peak was probably in the 2010s, like 2012, 2013, 2014. This was the peak Woerthersee time. Everybody of the European car scene would go to this event and show off their cars. If you would go down to Woerthersee at this time of the year, you would probably see like the coolest and most badass builds in Europe. You had the lowest, cleanest, loudest, fastest cars all together at one place, which was the beautiful Woerthersee, driving around from hotspot to hotspot. Because, as we all know, if you've been to Woerthersee, there are a few spots where the people tend to meet up and then just hang around, talk about their cars, do burnouts or whatever, and drink beer. It was like the main Woerthersee things to do. So it all started to go downwards, probably in 2018, 2019, when they really stepped up the police officers' numbers. The people living in the Woerthersee area were fed up with the meat. Obviously, I already told you the reasons for that. And yeah, they really tried to shut it down. They employed so many police officers that at one point in like 2021, 2022, there were actually more police officers at the event than tuner cars and tuning enthusiasts attending. So you would basically drive around, only see police cars and no other tuned cars. Also, what really led to the downfall of Woerthersee were the crazy laws Austria implemented. If you did a burnout, for example, they could take your car away 72 hours. If your car was too low, if your car was too loud, if you had different wheels on your car that you're not allowed to have, they could also take your license plates and you would basically not be able to drive your car anymore. And you had to have it towed back to you wherever you live, which was very costly for many people. This altogether scared many people from going to Woerthersee, and the numbers of attendees started to go downwards again really fast. So last year, I think they had the last official Woerthersee event. This year, nothing's happening anymore, but we still have some people going down to the Woerthersee. And that's our main goal for today, is we're gonna see how many people are still here. How is the situation with police? Do we get pulled over with my Viper? We're gonna find out. We're gonna see how it goes. And we're gonna see if Woerthersee really is dead. Join me, let's go back to the gas station, see what's going on. Let's go. Welcome back to the Woerthersee, welcome back to Mieszkulnik. This is gonna be our first spot of the day. Like I already said, this used to be packed with cars. This was like the central area where everybody would clean their cars. Normally they would have their girlfriends clean a car for them and the guys would just be chilling next to them. And drinking beers. Well, nowadays it's pretty much empty. You have some cars back there, we're gonna walk around back there later. But back in the good old times, people would be sitting next to the street all the way down here, cheering the cars driving by. And yeah, nowadays it's not really that anymore. Let's at least check out some of the cars here. Yeah. Mieszkulnik is pretty much, I think, one of the most well-known spots here at Woerthersee. That's where we're starting here. So normally you would not find any parking spaces here. If you go along like 5 years in the back.
And at the beginning, hey, my beer, arrows.
Also, you can see we brought my Viper. We're gonna drive around with this thing today because this is pretty much my most legal car because it's completely stock. So nothing can happen in theory. We're gonna see if that's really true. I guess we're gonna get pulled over at one point because that's normal Woerthersee experience, but yeah, we should be fine with this, so no worries.
And a fun fact, at the beginning at Woerthersee, or at the 2010 peak of Woerthersee, normally the most overhyped cars were here.
If you had the sickest car back then in the peak times, you would parked here all day because this is like the show-off spot, you know, where you park your coolest cars. You have some other spots we're gonna see later where it's most about like driving and action, but this right here is like where the coolest and sickest cars of Woerthersee would stand.
And as a normal person, you don't even have the idea to park inside here.
Yeah, if you would drive like a normal car back in 2015, nobody would have let you into this parking lot anyway. So like I said, this would have been full, people and cars everywhere. Sickest cars of Woerthersee, sickest cars of the world. If you would be standing here, it would be an honor. But yeah, nowadays, like I said, it's not really that anymore.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
But it's honestly, I thought it's gonna be worse. If you compare it to how it used to be, it's not really that anymore, I guess. Everything's empty.
Everything.
I can still remember the times where you would literally have to fight for a parking spot here. It's crazy. At least nobody is annoying us back here.
Yeah.
So there's that. It's pretty sad, but maybe we can change that, I guess. Let's go check out some other spots and then, yeah, I'm gonna drive around, count the police, because that's the next thing. Police is everywhere here. So, we're in the car now, and this is pretty much the second spot. There are a few main spots around the Woerthersee, and this is the Schloss Hotel. This is basically where everybody would sleep in. They would park their cars here outside the hotel. I think maybe you've seen some of the pictures, but now today it's pretty much, yeah. Only regular cars.
This club is closed forever.
This club is closed forever. It's really funny this year, like the past few years, we've always slept at this hotel. The prices were so expensive. Those were like the most expensive rooms at Woerthersee. I don't want to brag, but only like the guys with the coolest cars would obviously go there. And the people from the hotel, last times we were there, they were pretty fed up with all the tuning stuff. And they did not want to have the car people there. So that's why they raised the prices of the rooms. And also raised the prices for parking the cars outside and everything. And this year they even made a post that everybody should come back, and if you type in the code GTI while booking your rooms, you get a special discount and whatever. So you can see that the hotels here are so dependent on all this GTI stuff, that they're willing to go special way only for the people to come back. We also talked to some other people at the gas station. They said that the hotels here last year had minus revenue of around 25 to 30% over the whole year because the Woerthersee is cancelled and nobody was coming. So yeah, as you can see, it does not only affect the car enthusiasts, but also it affects the economy here at Woerthersee really much, because people are so dependent on the speed. I mean, obviously there were so many people coming here every year, and it's not only for like one weekend, it was the whole of May, and then again in autumn for 1 or 2 weeks. There was a massive amount of people here, and now with the Woerthersee event being cancelled and not really happening anymore, those hotels are missing those people.
Yeah, it's not only the hotels,
also
restaurants, everything.
Yeah, the whole economy was very reliant on those car people. One thing that is nice about Woerthersee being dead, kind of, is that there's no more traffic jams. Because in peak times you could not drive anywhere because the roads were not built to accommodate so many cars. It would take you an hour, sometimes even 2 or 3 hours to get from one spot to the next, because it was just a stop and go all the way, which was obviously very annoying for all the people living here, but also kind of cool for everybody who's car enthusiastic, because you would just be sitting in a traffic jam with a shitload of other tuned and cool looking cars, and people were standing next to the roads everywhere at every intersection cheering you. You would sometimes see burnouts, you would sometimes see launch control stuff, and those times are over. So no more traffic jams, which is nice for driving, but also kind of sad because it kind of made the event cool in my opinion. I wish I could show you guys how it used to be. We're gonna do a little edit, I think, at the end of the video where we use some of the clips of how it used to be, so you kind of get the feel for it, because it was insane. I'm a bit too young to fully experience it. I experienced it 1 or 2 years, but Mani lived through the peak.
Yeah, that was so sick. And everybody was so hyped about it at the winter time to build the cars and drive down and show the cars that you built with your friends or anything.
Were building the cars only for Woerthersee. That shows how deep of an impact this meet had for most of the people.
Yeah, and most of the people bought and GTA only for this meet.
Only to go to Woerthersee.
Yeah, that's
insane.
Exactly.
We are now at the third hotspot here, which used to be basically the official grounds where they hosted like all the festivals, and they even had like a big burnout area a little back there in the city. This here is Reifnitz, so it's like 20 minutes from Mischkolnik, and yeah, I think this stone should show you how much they used to...
Ich muss ihn berühren, ist doch mal laut. Ja, haben sehr schön gefräst da. Sag mal. Schlecht ist es nicht, ja?
No, this stone should show you how much they used to appreciate the GTI here at Woerthersee, and how much they used to appreciate the meet, because they even made a little memorial for all the GTIs. But yeah, those times are pretty much over. You see some cool cars down here.
Ja, was auf der Oppi-Sau da? Schleicht der!
You still have some die-hard fans coming here because they want to take a picture with the stone, obviously. But from what I know, this stone is also gonna get taken away, and I think they're gonna like put it near the VW factory in Wolfsburg.
Also der wäre Zwitscherbluffiner. Also der Reimquitsch.
It's still nice to see some people down here, but yeah, this used to be like full of cars as well. And you would have like all the manufacturers have like their own little like stand.
Yeah, like that is the VW area with the hoodest and
you could buy like merch and stuff.
Everything, and the highest guys from VW was there.
Niki Lauda was also there sometimes. It's crazy. Yeah, this used to be like the main hotspot, or like the main like event hotspot where they had like the official event. But yeah, bye bye Stone, I guess.
Ja, ich mache noch ein Foto als Erinnerung.
Okay, let's go to the next spot. It's not gonna be as dead at every spot, I think, but be patient with us. Yeah, so we're at the second spot right now, which is pretty much not only a spot, but a whole mountain. This is Pyramidenkogel.
Then it's the third spot.
Oh yeah, the third spot. Fourth spot, actually.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's a whole mountain road leading up to like a mountain, obviously, because it's a mountain road. And they have a little, like, you'll see it. They have a tower on top. You can go on the tower. You can see the whole Woerthersee. And here, obviously, the people would drift up the mountains. They would do burnouts. And you see, there would be people
sitting like this, but like not only 10, but like thousands of people, hundreds of people sitting. In every corner of this mountain, you would have people sitting and cheering you on, convincing you to burnouts and stuff. And this is actually pretty rare because the last few years they blocked off all these spaces where people were sitting. So they did not want to have anybody sitting there. I don't know why it's open this year. It's pretty cool, I have to say. That actually gives me a bit of hope that the Woerthersee might be coming back. This was one of the coolest spots where you would have the most action, because like I said, you could just sit down in this corner and watch people try to drift through it, or like do small burnouts and whatever, like launch control. And it was nice because nobody was living here, so you would not annoy nobody. But in the end, it all got shut down because it was deemed too unsafe to do. And you can also see there's police in front of us. So that's the main issue at Woerthersee right now. Although I have to say, this year it's not as bad as it used to be.
Maybe at the last spot.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. But police is definitely the main issue why nobody is coming here anymore. Or like not as many people are coming here anymore. Oh, there's actually quite many cars up here though today, I have to say.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm also surprised, but many of those are also just normal people. Because this is the little viewing platform, like I said. Yeah, the problem with police is that here in Austria and Germany we have the strictest car laws, which means basically any modification you do to your car, you have to check the safety function. You're not allowed to do most of the modifications that most of the cars have, so you're not allowed to be super low, obviously you're not allowed to be super loud, whatever. Everything has to be TÜV approved, everything has to be according to the rules, and if you modify your car to the slightest bit and you want to have a good looking car, 90% of the times you're not applying the rules. Yeah, 90% of the time your car was basically illegal because like I said, the rules are so crazy. When police would stop you, they would check your whole car. They would have special personnel out here. All the police officers were specially trained to know what to do with the car and where to look at. And if your car was not road safe or not legal, they would take your license plates away and you could not drive your car anymore. Which was also super expensive. That happened to me once on my R8 in 2018. They took my license plates away because the car was too low. It was an air ride. And that in the end cost me around 4,000 euros to get my license plates back, and with all the fines. So you can kind of see why the police is doing it as well, because it is a good revenue source for Austria, obviously. I think like the last time we've been here was 2022. I did a video of that. There was police everywhere. But back then there were also more people coming to Woerthersee. Nowadays it's not so many cars anymore, so I think they tuned down on police activity a little bit. But yeah, we have not been to all the spots yet. These were like the minor spots where we are right now, so maybe it gets worse later, but we will see. The Viper should be 100% safe though, so I don't really have any trouble with that. This was a pretty cool corner, because obviously everybody would park up there and then you could see down here and you could watch the people do their things, you know. Well, yeah, so this is pretty much the top of Carmeet Woerthersee, and I don't really like the height, honestly.
Money Dogster.
Yeah, you can basically see the whole of Woerthersee here. So everything back here to all the way back there, that's all Woerthersee. And yeah, people used to drive their cars around here, obviously. It's a really beautiful area. You also have some mountain roads back there. It's pretty fancy. But back here is basically where all the action is. So all the way back here you see Felden. And yeah, we're gonna go back there now. Maybe see if there's some cars there. Mani, you like it up here?
Nein, ich mag's gar nicht.
Das Beste kommt jetzt erst noch.
Ja, so rutschen ist mir wurscht.
Was? Rutsch runter?
Ja, wo ist das?
Was nicht?
Noah, so. Noah, saufe.
Du stehst da wie ein Erdmann. Aber die Viper ist da unten. Yeah, so this is pretty much the best part. You can slide all the way to the bottom from here. The only reason why I came up here is this, basically.
Ja.
Elias, her mit dir. Sau, dein Bizeps, Alter, ey. Spann mal um. Boah, Freedom. Du schaust so schnell aus.
Jetzt ist so weggerannt.
Wartest du auf mir in der Mitte?
Jawohl.
Prost, einen Durchstreck.
Und auf Wiedersehen.
Let's go to the next spot.
Ah, the famous corner.
There have been many questions at this corner.
Right here.
Yep. Yeah, this is now the 5th location, I think, if I count it correctly. This is Sabotnik.
Ah.
And this used to be pretty much the craziest spot because, yeah, you can see it on this road. You can kind of see the tire marks still. I think maybe a few weeks ago something happened here. But yeah, this is, oh yeah, you can see it back there actually really good. Yeah, this is what this spot is all about. You would have people lined up on every side of the road and the people would just fly through there. In the peak times, I think like 2014, 2015, that was the craziest spot you could be.
Yeah.
People were drinking beers everywhere and you would have like all these turbo golfs and all the M3s and whatever, doing the craziest burnouts and everything. And it was honestly, I've experienced it 1 or 2 times in my life. That was like the craziest car related thing, like car meet related thing I've seen. Because yeah, I think we can just show you some clips right now. And that's what it was like here. Pretty much every time you went down here for 1 month in spring and like 1 or 2 weeks in autumn. So it really was, I think this was the main issue of Woerthersee, was here at this spot. Because obviously you also have people living back here and then you had to have launch control and whatever, and it was really fucking loud. And also I kind of understand it was really dangerous, but at the same time it was the coolest shit ever. And now you can see they have police lined up here so that nothing happens, so nobody does anything, which yeah, that's pretty much what every spot right now is. You have police officers either undercover or directly parked at the spot, so nobody does a burnout or anything. And if they do something, they're gonna drive straight after them, pull them over, and probably take their car. It's a bit sad to see this spot like this with no action. This was Mani's favorite spot.
Yes.
So Mani would always hang out here, and yeah. It was also crazy years ago. You could never get a parking spot anywhere here.
And late at the night, it was one lane for the cars.
The people were so close on the road.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was like in those old school rally videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what it has come to, 2024. I do have to say though that this year is a bit better than the years before that. Maybe it's getting better. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe.
Let's go check out the last spot for today. And this is pretty much a spot where probably there will be some people hanging out because there's a car meet there today. So yeah,
let's go.
Let's go.
Sabotnik, es war mir eine Ehre.
Jetzt
ja.
Yeah, welcome to Woerthersee. Let's see if my theory is correct and if I will be having no issues. Okay, passt. Ja, kein Problem. That's the reason why nobody's coming here anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Let's see. And what do you think?
Schauen wir mal.
Yeah?
Schauen wir lieber sie, was sie finden. So we have to check the noise of the car really quick.
Sportmodus bitte. Sie hat die aufgelassen.
Hat keine Modi.
Wenn eine richtige Messung machen, werden wir wieder auf dem anderen Rad fahren, wo jetzt nicht zu viel.
Das Auto ist Kommissarie, also ich muss...
Ja.
Wie viel haben wir jetzt gehabt?
Das ist jetzt auch noch nicht kalibriert gewesen. Okay, wir fahren ein bisschen über 200.
Okay. Yeah, we are getting escorted right now to the spot where they basically check all the cars. They have a mobile TÜV station there normally, and that's also the spot where they took the license plates of my R8 6 years ago. So yeah, it's a pretty infamous spot. Like I said, they have special trained police officers and other government officials, and they check the cars there regularly, and they pretty much know what they're doing. But I am still pretty positive that I don't really have any troubles, because like I said, the car is original. They don't really believe me, but yeah, we're gonna find out now, I guess.
It's a little bit annoying and time-consuming.
Very time-consuming and very annoying, but
it is what it is.
Yeah, they're doing their job.
Yeah.
They could be a bit friendlier, but whatever. It is.
He's completely neutral. Yeah. He's not an asshole. He's not very nice. He's
just, yeah, he's just there, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I guess they have to deal with quite some interesting characters here down in Woerthersee. So I guess I would probably be in the same.
I think
position.
For him, it's a good time to spend some time
looking at cars.
Yeah.
He's doing what we're doing, but he's getting paid. Yeah, that's the spot here. It's gonna be very interesting. So you should probably already see. Lambo guy is also here.
There's lots of cars.
So at the second spot, we were greeted by one of our friends, the guy with the green Huracan. His car was also getting tested by the police. They would not believe him that the car was stock, which indeed it was. So after some testing, they let him go. Also next to us was a girl from Switzerland with her Golf 7, I think. The car was too low or too loud or something like that. So the police took her license plates away, which the girl was not really happy about. And she tried protesting in every way, but at that point, once they take your license plates away, there's not really anything you can do. After like 1.5 hours of waiting, it was our turn to get the car tested. Initially, police would not really believe us that the wing and everything else was stock on the car, but Mani did some very convincing work of googling a Viper ACR, so we got that sorted. Yeah, in the meantime, Mani and my other two friends, they got basically told to leave the area because they kept filming, which the police was not a big fan of. So following that, they started to check the noise of my car, which was the most important part for them because it was pretty much the last thing they could check. In the first spot, the car was only 2 decibels too loud, which is within the limits. So they changed the measurement system for the second spot, which you can see now in the video. During this, the police officer was also looking inside the car to see if he could find any switches or anything else to see if the exhaust has been tampered with, you know, like valve controls or whatever. And he found one switch on my dashboard which controls the rear fog light, which he did not believe me at first it was for the rear fog light, but I showed him, so that was okay. The police officer was very, very knowledgeable. He knew all the tricks and all the spots where you could hide it. For example, on the AC button, which he also tried to see if the launch control works and whatever. After that, they wanted to see how loud the car is in launch control, which I did not want to do because obviously it's not required by law to test the car on launch control. And I told him, and he kind of understood that after a few tries as well. So we went back to normal noise testing, and it turns out my car was around 11.5 decibels too loud, which I still do not understand how that worked, but whatever. Yeah, so there was that. It only took around 20 police officers to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm a free man and my Viper is too. The car was too loud, 10 decibels too loud, which is actually quite interesting because it's supposed to be factory. My guess is that either they measured wrong, I don't know, I'm not an expert in this, but it seemed to be very close to the car.
Yeah, half a meter.
That was not half a meter, that was like 30 centimeters, honestly.
Closer.
Yeah, but whatever, we'll see. I'm getting a nice little letter from the police sent to my home because of, well, obviously the car being too loud, and then secondly they say it's a noise violation. So noise violation and the car being too loud, which is 2 offenses, and that's gonna be, I guess, probably 500 euros, maybe a bit more.
Something like that, yeah.
And I have to probably send the car to the TÜV again and have it checked, which is honestly no problem, but whatever. It's just annoying because it's so time consuming. This took now
almost 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
So we got our complete car check in 2 hours.
Twice.
Twice, which is insane. But hey, yeah, like I said, they are just doing what they have to do. The police officers were very nice. I talked to one of the other guys a little bit, and he liked the car, which is cool. So yeah, we continue to the last spot. Even the police said there's quite so many cars in the last spot. So we're gonna see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, some of them were a bit mad at us for filming, but Yeah, also I forgot to mention, they nearly took the license plates. So if the car would have been, I think, 0.5 decibels louder, they would not have let me continue driving. Yeah, so I got a bit lucky there. I seriously don't know why the car was louder than it should have been.
Maybe it's from the track use.
I honestly think it is actually, because the exhaust just got louder and louder over time. There they are, the next people. Yeah, also I spoke to one of the police officers a little bit. He said that this year it's a bit more people than the last few years, but still it's very, very quiet compared to the last, you know, how it used to be, obviously. I mean, we see it as well. He also said that the main problem is just that it was unbearable for the people living here, which I really do understand. I mean, people were going really, really crazy here. So, now really quick, we have made it to the last spot, which is Turbokurve, which has always been kind of like the biggest spot where everybody is. And also right now, this weekend, quite many people showed up, as you can see. So it kind of feels, it doesn't feel bad, yeah. It's definitely more people here than the last few years, but still not how it used to be. But you can kind of get the feeling of, you know, what's going on. Basically the Turbokurve is, this little stretch of road, this corner. And the people are standing right and left on,
in the corner.
In the corner, and then you can kind of guess what's happening. Everybody's just driving through there, showing off the launch control, doing burnouts. But they implemented a rule: if you do launch controls or burnouts here, you're not allowed to go into this parking lot here.
Or because of them.
Yeah, that might also be a reason. But still, it's quite many people here. That's actually really, really nice to see. I'm quite surprised, honestly, that there's so many people who showed up here today. But I think the weather is also a huge bonus. Yeah, if you look all the way back here, you have quite many cars.
And people.
We
can go through and have a look.
Yeah, we go through later. I'm gonna do a few more pictures, I guess. And then, that was...
Da war schon einer.
I actually have to say, there's quite many cars here this year. But only on this spot.
Yeah, because of the gepfeffert meet, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there was a Carmeet here today, so I think that might also be a reason why there's still so many people here. But honestly, it's quite nice, although the cars are not the same quality as they used to be, you know. Also here it was, the closer the cars were to the street, to the actual Turbokurve, the better they were. Nowadays it's just park wherever you want, and yeah. But it is what it is.
Ohne Scheiß nackt haben wir jetzt mit so etwas hochgefunden.
Ja.
Hey! Schluck! Geht schon! Schluck!
Ich bin beim Schädelfeld. Yeah, so if you're wondering what Woerthersee is about,
this is what Woerthersee is about.
if you know Ballermann and you just imagine cars to it, pretty much that's it. Ja, viel Erfolg noch.
Danke,
Beim nächsten Mal machst du einen Backflip.
Muss ich aber noch üben, gell?
Ja, hast du noch
Fertig! Ja, grüß dich! Geile Brühen, Bruder!
Keine Brühen, mehr geil, so steht oben.
Echt?
Ich hab's nichts geschrieben, dass ihr kommt. Sie hat so gefragt.
Echt?
Ja, sie ist der größte Fan und deswegen hat sie schon so geschrieben steht.
Ja, ich hab gesagt, bitte komm her, weil sonst hole ich die voll wohl.
Von Kitzbühel.
Ja, genau. Ich hab gesagt, ich schlepp die auch sonst.
Ah, ja, das Bitte, oder?
Hinten am Parkplatz gesehen mit der Viper. Mein Gott, das ist oder?
Shit. Alles gut, der Punkt da ist Manni. Manni? Manni?
Ja.
Jetzt, ich hol ein Bier.
Sie mit links unterschreiben.
Du hast jetzt?
Ja, unterschreiben.
So I'm back in my garage, which means we made it home safely yesterday. There were no other incidents. This also leads me to answer the question, is Woerthersee really dead in 2024? I mean, you guys saw it. Some of the hotspots, there were still pretty many people. Some other hotspots, they were completely dead, like Sabotnik and Reifnitz, for example, which is pretty sad because they were one of the coolest spots to hang around with. I think in the end, it's just a matter of time. You can't really tell it right now. I think it's not dead, but it's pretty crippled and pretty fucked up. It's definitely not what it used to be anymore. So that's pretty sad. If you have never gotten to experience Woerthersee, I feel really, really bad for you. Because for me, it was also always one of the best times of the year, going down to Woerthersee. And I think I'm not the only one. You heard it in the video as well. People were building their cars only for this event. And it getting shut down now means for many people that they don't really have to do anything with cars anymore. Or like no events to attend to anymore. So I don't really know what to do. Like I already said, time will tell what will happen in the future. Maybe the people will want to have the meet back for economic reasons or other reasons. We will see. And for all the others of you watching in the US or whatever, where you have similar meets like Woerthersee, maybe take an example of us and don't fuck up your meets. Don't do any burnouts and stuff like next to the residents. Respect the locals, obviously. That's like the most important stuff, like most important part when going to a car meet. I know I've been dumped before. I also did burnouts at Woerthersee and whatever, but I've learned from over the years that there's always a time and a place to do something, and doing burnouts next to people sleeping is probably not the best idea. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're gonna see each other again very, very soon. I hope you enjoyed it. It was something different than usual, but I think it's still pretty interesting to see. Havideri. Ciao.